Okay, we are in for the Create Your Signature program in 7 days. Just had a little glitch there with our volume, but all of that I'm hoping is taken care of. So we'll just wait for people to show up now. And the most important thing is this is a workshop webinar. This is not just me presenting information. I really want you to get as much out of this workshop as possible. I want you to take a pen and paper out and start making notes. All of those things are very, very important for the next hour. And as soon as we get a few people coming in, just because I did have to restart this whole broadcast, we will get going in the next couple of minutes. Okay, welcome back. Again, my sincere apologies to everyone that had to sign back in. I'm hoping you can hear everything perfectly now. Please just post in the chat that the volume is working, that you can see my slides clearly on the screen. Welcome, welcome. Also, as you are coming into the room, I would love for you to introduce yourself, to say where you're calling in from, what your background is, how long you've been in business or practice for. And we will be starting at 5 after on the button, just to make sure that we leave enough room and time for people to join. So again, please introduce yourself as you come in. Let me know you can hear me okay. You can see my slides. I'm hoping that everything is going okay on your end. It looks good on my end. I just need someone to give me a bit of feedback here before I bust into this webinar tonight, that you can see and hear everything just fine. And please let me know again your background, how long you've been in practice for, everything. Danielle, thank you so much. Amazing. And my apologies for kicking you out there very briefly. And how about everybody else? We're getting a few more people coming on. I know it's late on a Thursday evening. The one thing that I promise is I am not going to take down this webinar. It's a workshop. It's for you to learn. I really hope that everybody who is on the call right now will have a pen and paper in front of you. I strongly encourage you to turn off any distractions, put your phone on airplane mode, mode, turn off the email, turn off the Facebook. Over the next hour, it is my goal for you to be as ready to go for even as early as Monday with regards to getting your program set up. So I just got another post saying, Monique, you're not hearing anything. Is that the case for everyone, or everyone's good? It seems like the chat is working okay. You're just launching your practice now. That is fantastic, RS. And so again, just confirm that you are able to hear me just fine. That's the one sneaky part about webinars, is you just don't know what's happening on the other end of the computer. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so we are going to launch right into this as I promised. It is 8:05 on October 27th. We are going to get going. If any technical glitches happen, please post them as soon as possible. On the call at 3 o'clock, I guess my volume was coming in and out. So let me know if that happens. If you lose the screen, let me know. As I said, though, this next hour is for you guys. I want you to have your pen and paper ready to brain dump as I go through the 5 strategies. Lee from Minnesota, amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you can hear and see everything perfectly. Good. And use the chat box to your advantage, guys, because I'm going to be looking at it the entire time, and I'll respond to your questions as quickly as I can. This webinar is not about me. It is totally about you. So let's jump into it. So in the top left-hand corner, that is me, basically what I'm doing right now in front of my computer on my Blue Yeti mic. And that is pretty much what I look like on a weekly basis when I'm recording my webinars for the Profitable Practice podcast. If you have not yet checked it out, please do so on iTunes. It is my big project that I love. We are almost at 50 episodes, which is insane. I launched it in January and I haven't stopped. So this is something that I would definitely like you to check out, and that gives you tons of great extra information. The last episode that I posted was with Shannon Lee Simmons, and it was the most entertaining. I laughed out loud on several occasions, and it was about that touchy subject of money and managing money in your business. But Shannon made it so easy, and I would definitely encourage you to listen to that one. In the bottom picture, this is what I do on a monthly basis at a local cable TV show. Is I do little segments on diet and lifestyle, and then in the very bottom corner is my book, Maximized Health. And then off to the right is my family and my new member of the family that will be joining us in November, although I think she's trying to claw her way out of me any moment now. But that little munchkin in the middle is Aria. She's 2. She is becoming a bit of a brat, I will say. The terrible twos have definitely hit our house. And then that's my cutie patootie husband. And then our little girl, Brooklyn, who I think I'm going to call her B. A and a B, and I don't know if we're going to have a C yet. So we'll see what it's like with 2 kids. But ultimately, if you don't know who I am, I graduated from the Naturopathic College in Toronto in 2011. And I found even then I was doing as much as I possibly could to mentor and give back to my colleagues, whether it was being a tutor or a gynae model or a social rep for my class. And that really kind of extended into where I'm at now. So mentorship was always a big part of me and what really helps to fulfill me. As soon as I got my medical license, I basically purchased my practice in the small town of Caledonia, which I grew up, and joined another practice as an associateship on the exact same day. So I knew I had to make this business work. And I waited 5 years for the naturopathic school to open up a position for a new professor for the business course. And as soon as that email hit my inbox, I applied within 30 minutes. and unfortunately was denied the position, which ended up working out well for everybody else, because that spurred me to create the Profitable Practice podcast and launch my website, maximizebusiness.ca, and create these programs that I've now created online. So the main reason why I did all these things is after watching the Facebook threads on healthcare practitioners that are struggling in their business, I knew that the only way that was going to change is if somebody started to make a difference. So I have now become completely driven to change the conversation that healthcare professionals are having around being successful in this industry. And remember that I'm not coming from a place with millions of dollars in the bank. Like, I'm still plugging away at the trenches and continuing to grow my practice. And as much as I can make your journey and your practice building way faster and way less stressful, that is a huge win for me. And as I said, I wasn't going to let that missed opportunity of being in front of students kind of stop me from helping you guys out as much as I can and learning about business and learning from some of the greatest people in the online space and in the business space and in the healthcare space has really become something that I've adopted this year, especially so that I can grow and then pass my knowledge on to you. And what I have learned is that there's a lot of people teaching business and marketing, but they have no idea of what it's like to be a naturopath or in the healthcare industry. And there's a lot of people teaching you how to run your business, but they're doing it from a business background. And again, they didn't go through the schooling to get their diploma or certification or degree in holistic nutrition or naturopathic medicine. They also typically aren't working in the trenches alongside you. And I find that that's a really important thing for a business coach to also be doing what they are teaching you, because business transforms and it changes literally by the month. And it's good to have somebody alongside you who can coach you as they watch the trends change in this industry. So that's why I wanted to be one of the first to take away a lot of the confusion and the fear of growing your business and start making this as easy as possible. Being a naturopathic doctor and being a doctor is something that I always wanted to do. But as I said, mentorship is really what is inspiring me, and it's bringing out a whole new passion in me. And I'm doing this because I want everybody in the healthcare industry to know that this is a successful career option. And my biggest thing is I want to teach you to work a whole lot smarter and a lot better with your time. And remember, I'm a naturopathic doctor in Ontario, and our regulations are incredibly strict here, I find. So if I can do this in my practice, you guys can definitely do it in your business. And let me also remind you that I'm doing this pretty much all on my own. So I'm not running a multidisciplinary clinic. I do not have a big marketing team or PR team behind me. I still, to this day, do all my own YouTube videos and edits, all my social media posts. I manage my calendar, and I don't do a lot of high-cost services to help generate the revenue that I have. So I run what I consider regular old naturopathic practice, but what I've made sure to do is that I do it very smart, and I really monopolize on things like automation to take away a lot of wasted time. So in my first year of practice, I generated almost $100,000. So I knew that I wasn't bad at running a business. So that was very helpful. And last year, right after I had Ari and came back to work with less clinic hours and spending more time with my family, I had my best grossing year ever. And with that, I increased patient visits by about 43%, so almost 50%, and had 15% more new patients book into the office during that time. So that was a really, really great year. And this year has been equally as transformative, and I just hope to continue to grow. So how it all started, guys, was just one educational course at a time, one YouTube video at a time. one Facebook post at a time, just taking those baby steps in the right direction. And if you take nothing else from me, no other piece of advice, I strongly encourage you to approach growing your business with the mindset of, if other successful people are doing it, then I can do it too. Do not feel like you need to go down the untraveled road and create something brand spanking new that nobody has ever tried or tested or have ever done before, because you're afraid of duplicating what other people have done. There is a reason why there is different companies that are all doing the same thing. There's a reason why there's 10 different cell phone companies that are all kind of monopolizing off of the same software, and yet they're still all doing very good. It's because people aren't necessarily looking for brand new, and brand new can be very scary. So whatever you see or hear me doing, if it resonates with you, just please copy exactly what you see me doing. And above all else, you have to take action. And that's why I said, for the next hour, guys, the next 45 minutes you have with me, be using this as your time with undeniable focus. Use me to your advantage. Use the chat window to your advantage. Write things down, brain dump, and I'm going to walk you through how you could literally create your in-office program by Monday and start to promote it to your patients. And when it comes to creating these programs, understand that people just are not that different. And especially from a naturopathic perspective, we get into this mindset that we have to treat everybody as individuals. And unfortunately and fortunately, people really aren't all that different. So when it comes to treating someone's blood sugar, I mean, how many different ways can you start somebody off with making those changes? Typically, we start with balancing their diet and getting them moving 20 minutes per day and including some herbs or spices that help to control blood sugar, getting them to eat more protein. I mean, if you're seeing this type of market coming into your practice or your business, then I'm sure you're doing basic foundational steps with these people, and you're still getting tremendous results. And then, of course, tweaking and the longevity at which you work together is always going to differ, but the basic premises are always typically the same. Same with treating someone's digestion. So I treat predominantly digestive upset in my practice, and it always starts with the triggers, healing the gut, adding in anti-inflammatories, adding in a probiotic at the end. It's always kind of the same. You just may approach each patient with a little bit of different language, with maybe a slightly different protocol, but there's no reason why you couldn't create a program around that. So always remember that people really aren't so different, and that's why people niche the target market that they focus on, because it really does help to grow your practice and your business a lot better, because you can focus and talk to those people appropriately. And what it really is that makes people individual is their personal blockages and mindsets. And depending on what type of business owner or healthcare practitioner you are, you may not want to even go down that rabbit hole with some people. Or maybe that's a mainstay of your practice. And there's a lot of phenomenal programs out there that are all around mindset and meditation and stress management. So I would love to hear from all of you who are listening so far. What is your kind of target market? What are you thinking about with regards to creating your programs? And I would love to help you out as best I possibly can as you kind of go through this webinar tonight. So who are you focusing on? Who are you talking to? Who do you want to create this in-office program for? And while you're posting those, remember that the reason for creating a signature program is because we want to keep your time as valuable as possible. And if you continue to see the same people, you're just going to say the exact same thing over and over and over again to the same group of patients. And eventually you may want to just kill yourself, because you're just like, oh my goodness, this is this is not what I signed up for. This is so monotonous. I wanted to sign up for the challenge and inspire these people, but you're wasting so much time saying the same stuff. So why wouldn't you create a personalized in-office program and create it for your clients or patients? Because these programs typically will also help to extend the lifetime value of your client or patient as well, and help you create that beautiful, long-lasting relationship with them, because you're going to see them in your office more. You're going to really help them break down those layers and peel away the onion so you can get to those kind of deeper internal issues that they're actually struggling with. And the more you see patients in your office, typically the more you get to learn more uniquely about what makes them tick. You learn more about their family. You start to develop a really nice therapeutic relationship. And when you do that with your clients or patients, you're going to find that the revenue and the word of mouth referrals just start flooding in. So if this is making sense to anybody, please in the chat, give me a hell yeah. Say, yeah, totally, you're reading my mind. This is great. Something so I know that you're really into this and that this is kind of speaking to you. Perfect. Danielle gave me a hell yeah, and I love that. So remember when it comes, oh, Lena, definitely. Perfect. So remember that when we are creating these programs, our goal is to help solve their client/patient problems and concerns as quickly as possible. And you all are no different than the people that you're treating. And we all love structure, and we all love a start and a finish. And that's why programs are so valuable. So the most important thing that I want you to remember, and I should have highlighted this in yellow, is that once you've got an idea of what your patients or clients are wanting from you, but you're actually going to give them what they need in order to achieve that, that success. So remember that. I'd like you to write that down somewhere, that once you know what your patients want, then you can create something to give them what they actually need. And what I mean by that is patients may want to lose 10 pounds. They may want to fit into their shorts a little bit more comfortably. They may want to build their confidence. But what they actually need is the accountability. They actually need someone to come into their home and help them clean out their kitchen. They need someone to walk them through the grocery store and show them why these foods are bad and these foods are good. So understand that what people are actually asking you for isn't necessarily what they need, but they still want that result. So it just kind of changes your mindset around how you're going to create your program. And we'll walk through all of that. So now we're going to jump right into the 5 steps to create your signature program in a week. So we have research. We're going to talk about that, creating your offer, creating the content, how to price the program, and then, of course, how to promote it. Because remember, as I said, I want you to be able to sell this program, not just create a program and then have it sit on your shelf and collect dust. So when we get into research, and if you don't do these steps in order, I promise you that it will not work out well for you. So the most important step, and the step that you might have to take the longest amount of time on over the next 5 to 7 days, is researching. And promise me, everyone, hold up your right hand and promise me that you will not ever, ever, ever create anything before you know what your patients or clients are asking for. So what I mean by that is, you may be attracting patients for fertility. You may be attracting patients for celiac disease. And you may intuitively be really excited about creating what's a weird example? A program on eating gluten-free. But the celiac patients know how to eat gluten-free. They've been doing that for years. What they're actually looking for from you is how they can heal their leaky gut, and what is a great protocol to help them do that. So they know how to remove the gluten, but they're stuck at, how do I actually get that long-lasting result where I don't get flare-ups? So again, it really helps me organize my speech to you guys if you post sort of who your target market is. And it's also very important for you to identify who your targets are, because then it helps you do the promotion and do the research. So please let me know, because then I like to use your examples as ways to kind of explain how to put the program together. So for instance, on our 3 p.m. call, there's people that were talking about doing working with PCOS patients. There are people that wanted to do fertility and weight management for women that were the ages of 27 to 35. My target market are women from 35 to 60 that are busy moms. They have and make no time for themselves. They are eating the scraps at the dinner table while everybody else is eating healthy. They may or may not have a gym membership. If they do have a gym membership, they're not going to the gym. They are not sleeping. Like, that is my exact target market. So who are you guys attracting with your program? Who are you talking to? Who are you thinking about when you put this program in mind? So we have targeting police force stress management. That is amazing. Chronic diseases, so chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. So RS, I'm encouraging you to try to limit that down a little bit more. So that's a very, very big, broad topic. So like what Danielle did is she said, I'm going to work at the police force for stress management. Potentially operators is your target market there, Danielle. I'm not too sure. So when we're talking about everything that you treat, I really want you to come up with what is a very succinct subset of these illnesses that you want to focus on. Is it eating hypoallergenic diet? Is it for sleep? Is it for pain management? As you are coming up with your target market, the target has to be literally on the bullseye. Like, you should be able to write sentences about these people, not big global categories. Okay. So please post those up. But while we are thinking about that, when it comes to your research, and as I said, promise me, you're not going to create anything without knowing that your clients and patients want it, is you'll start to notice trends around the people that are coming into your practice. So what are the common complaints that you're hearing? Is it that everybody says, I want this, this, and this, and then they all have more energy? I want this, this, and this, but I have issues with heart disease, or there's diabetes in my history, so that's something that I want to work on. Is it weight loss? Is it fertility? Is it chronic gas and bloating? You know, what are those common complaints that you're already attracting? And what is that common issue that they all have that you keep seeing on your intake form? So as you start to notice what your patient base is asking you for, you can then put your energy towards targeting those complaints and creating a program around it. So we have Olina saying that you're seeing a lot of geriatrics and they're on tons of meds, no doubt. And the common issue you see with them is sleep, energy, and digestive stuff. So Olina, if you were to pick one of those, or even blend them into some sort of a program, again, think about what that would look like. So what could you do that, because I find with a lot of geriatrics, I mean, they're kind of stuck in their ways sometimes, and you're not going to be able to take away a whole lot of medications at this stage in their life. But what are some ways that you've noticed, man, if I teach people how to do this, they get tons of energy, or they sleep way better, and their digestive symptoms start to go away. So while you're doing your research, think back to the people that you've already seen. And then the next thing, and the most important thing that I want you to do, and I do this constantly in my practice, is I always ask my patients. So you may want to send out an email to those patients that you're thinking about right now as you're going through the webinar, and just very simply say, I have one question to ask you. Where are you currently struggling when it comes to sleep? Where are you currently struggling when it comes to losing weight? And leave it very open and say, all I want you to do is reply to this email, and I will read your answer. And you're going to save all of these answers into some form of a document, and you'll have this information there, which is key for when you start putting together the promotional side of thing and the offer. The other thing that you can do is definitely survey your social media people, and you can easily make these surveys either polls on Facebook. You can do that, or you could do SurveyMonkey. And on SurveyMonkey, have no more than about 3-4 questions maybe, and make them very specific, but also allow people the space to answer freely, right? So you want to make the question very targeted, but you want to allow them to speak in their own language, because you're going to use their language and almost say it back to them when you're trying to promote the program once you have that ready. So the other thing, if you're not too sure, so maybe some of the people on the call are, you know who you want to treat, but you're just not sure how to get into that sort of nitty-gritty target market. So think about joining some Facebook groups and really just kind of sit back, don't engage, don't let anybody know that you're there, and really start paying attention to what the common threads are, what are the questions that people are posting that are getting the most responses. How are people responding to those questions? And look at where the struggles are, because often that is gold when it comes to creating your program. You know, are you addressing struggles that other people aren't? So for instance, with PCOS, addressing the acne that comes with high levels of testosterone is a huge, huge thing for a lot of PCOS patients. Or the hair growth, you know, how to manage the hair growth is a big, I feel, untouched market when it comes to creating programs. So this is the type of stuff that I want you to think about. So we just had Monique post as well. So in the past 3 months, I've had numerous patients with all kinds of concerns, whether it's weight loss or pain management or stress management. One theme that keeps coming across them is gut healing. And that's why you feel like you have difficulty narrowing your interests. And so what I'm going to say to that, Monique, is I'm not asking you to narrow how you run your practice. I'm just saying, is there a program that you could put together that would be very, very good? Maybe it's only 4 weeks to help you walk people through, I don't know, a hypoallergenic diet for the next 4 weeks, or a 4R restoration program that you could give to your weight loss patients, your autoimmune patients, your pain management patients. That's personally why I love the 7-day detox program that I use in my practice, because it's the exact same foundation, but I tweak it for any patient that comes into my office. And I do that program pretty much with every single new patient, because it's just a nice clean slate. I mean, it's 7 days. Nobody has any issues with committing to that. And then what I do is I kind of feed them into my 12-week transformation program, which is basically a lifestyle and weight loss program, and kind of use those stepping stones. But I didn't actually create the 12-week program until March of this year. And it was because I just kind of sat back and really paid attention to what my patients were asking of me, what I was attracting, where they kept failing. And it was always around accountability. So they were always good for the first couple of weeks, and then they would fall off the wagon. And I think we all can understand that. So we have a question here. What is a good way to phrase a question to your audience? Like, what is the number one thing you need help with to improve your health? You know what? That's actually a pretty decent question. What I will say is, if you are creating a program on, as I said, weight loss, you want to change that last part to, What is the number one thing you are struggling with when it comes to weight loss? Again, you want to provoke that pain response when you're asking your questions, because you want people to relay back their emotions around those issues, and you'll understand why that's so important. So when we are creating the actual offer is what you're selling. So remember, the offer is like the landing page. This is the program. This is what you are selling to people. But remember that you are trying to sell a solution to your clients' or patients' problems. And you want to think about what solutions are already out there. So I do a lot of weight loss. And I know that there's Weight Watchers. I know that there's Herbal Magic. I know there's Ideal Protein. I know there's all of these different programs that are out there. And what I knew is that it was the one-on-one accountability that really had people feeling that they just weren't getting the success that they wanted, and the pressure that a lot of those programs put on them to get, 20 pounds lost in like 10 days, which is insane. So I wanted to create a program that was just encouraging them to learn how to develop better lifestyle skills and habits. And that's what set me apart from those other programs and made me feel like I had a leg up on the competition. I wasn't competing anymore because I had my own spin on it. So think about, again, what is your solution that you're offering to their problem? And so before you, again, put any energy into creating this program, you have to write this question down. So you have to write, I am solving the problem of weight loss, of digestive upset, to this particular person so they can experience this transformation over the course of X number of days or weeks or months, or however you want to put it. So again, I am solving the problem of, let's say, PCOS to 35-year-old females so they can experience what it's like to be hair free in 3 months. That would be an example. Or I am solving the problem of chronic gas and bloating to patients that are suffering with celiac disease so they can know what it's like to go to a restaurant without fear of flare-ups. And my course will be 4 weeks long. So if anybody wants to share what that offer would look like, please do in the chat. At the very least, I want you to write this question down. And I'm just going to have a glass of water while you're doing that. So this is kind of the mainstay with how you are going to develop your offer. And right now you may be thinking 4 weeks, maybe you're thinking 7 days, maybe you're thinking a year. What I'd like you to do is just focus on one particular program. And then as you watch the replay, you can go through this whole 5-step program or 5-step strategy for every other stepping stone or stair level that you want to. So as I said, please let me know what you're thinking of so I can tweak it or help you with it, or you can always kind of do it on your own time and then let me know outside of the webinar tonight. So things to watch, and this is a big important part, is do not, when you are creating your offer, do not focus on how you're going to get the patients there right now. We're going to talk about that as we're creating our content, but your offer has to be all about evoking that emotional response in your patients. Meaning, there's so many weight loss programs out there, and I use weight loss because that's kind of a focus for me. But if you keep selling, I promise you that you'll lose 10 pounds. And I'm going to do that by giving you a recipe book and giving you the exact meal plan and giving you all of the containers for you to put your foods in, like the 21-day fix. If you just sell them on the vehicle, there's no emotional response with that. People have heard that time and time again. But if your program and your offer is saying, I want to help you be there when your kids get married, or your kids are having grandchildren, and I want you to be able to jump off the couch and play with your grandkids in the park and do that without pain, do that without hesitation, and feel like you're 10 years younger again. I want you to look in the mirror and be so proud of who you are on the inside that you can lose the mom guilt you've been carrying around with you since you put on those 30 pounds, since your last child. I want you to stop worrying that a man will never find you attractive by going through this strategy that I've created and giving you that self-confidence, because whatever, like I'm coming up with these things on the fly, but that is going to, again, get people more engaged with what it is you're trying to offer them or what your program is all about, a lot more than what most of us do in this industry, which is talk about, for instance, they're doing a detox. I want you to detoxify your body because you're being exposed to toxins on a daily basis, and the phase 1 and phase 2 part of your liver is really starting to shut down. And when that happens, you'll start to develop skin rashes and headaches, and you just won't feel very good. And so I've created this detox program that at the end of 7 days, I promise you that you'll be feeling so much better, right? So nobody cares about that. Everybody knows what a detox is all about. Nobody wants to hear about the medical stuff. Nobody knows why phase 1 and phase 2 is so important, because the people that we're talking to really respond to 4th grade level information, right? They're not doctors. They don't understand the medical side. And even when I think about what makes me buy things, it's always an emotional response. It's feeling part of a community. It's feeling like I'm taking control back of my health. It's not, oh, cool, like the iPhone gives me tons of space for apps and pictures. It's not about that. It's, I love Apple products, and I love that Apple products are always on TV. So it makes me feel like I'm also on TV because I have an Apple phone, like something along those lines. And then the final thing I want to say is when you create your offer, in order to get people to invest in it, has to be all about the pain points. And if you can, and this is what's going to take a little bit of getting used to and a little bit of research again, is tap into those internal problems and stay away from the external. External, again, is the, I want to lose weight, I want to lose inches, I want to have clear skin, I want to, all the physical stuff. But the internal issue is where they, the mom guilt, I'm afraid my husband is going to leave me because I've put on 50 pounds. I am so afraid that I'm never going to be able to bear children. And I'm so tired of being the last person in my group of friends that doesn't have kids. Those are the internal struggles that these people actually want from you. But again, what are we going to do? We are giving them what they want up front. So that's the external problem, but we're actually delivering to them what they need. And that's solving the internal problem. And if you can do that well, I promise you guys, your practice between now and next year will be night and day, and you will feel like a much better business owner. So I wanted to show you an example here. So for instance, this is what most naturopathic doctors, as soon as we leave school, will post onto our website to try to get patients to engage. So number one, naturopathic weight loss means absolutely dick all to just about every patient. They don't care that it's a naturopath that's doing it. They want the results. So tell me, where on this page do you see anything about the pain points? Where do you see you solving the internal struggle, the external struggle? What we're going through here is just, again, making us as a naturopath feel better about ourselves and better about our knowledge, right? So I will provide you individual support and education so that you can have a healthy life, and we'll treat the adrenals and stress and the thyroid and digestion. And we'll also do a BIA analysis. Like, who, if you were just Joe Schmo coming onto this website, would be excited about this program versus this one, who is by my good friend Dave Smith. I interviewed him on my podcast, and this is I put the link up at the top here for you. Huge landing page, so it goes on forever and ever. I just took snapshots of it, but immediately you're already engaged. So we live an increasingly stressful world, and has your body exceeded its stress limit? Let's find out. So over the past 6 months, have you said this? I can't get my food cravings under control. It seems like my body gains so much weight so much faster these days. I used to be able to lose weight so much easier than I can now. I wish I had more time. When it comes to your weight, would you say any of the following statements are true? Now remember, every time somebody posts a question to you, whether you're going to answer it or not, your brain answers it. So people are naturally going to want to see, oh, what are the possible answers that I could have? So I really don't like looking at the number on the scale. I wish I had a reliable plan that I knew would actually get me results. And then he goes on to building up inflammation and how if you don't take care of this stuff, this is what's going to happen is your body is going to reach its breaking point. You'll gain weight more quickly. Your energy levels will plummet. Your digestive system will completely be thrown out of whack. So what we call this is poking the pain point. You know, they may not realize how bad it could actually get. And then they're like, oh shit, like I really got to get this under control. Like I don't want my body to reach the breaking point. So just wait till you try this. The 10 and 4 challenge has helped so many women already. So I know it will help you too. Lose that sticky fat that you've been trying to get rid of for ages. Overcome the food cravings. No more gas or bloating. No more yo-yo dieting. Have more time to spend with family and friends. Feel energized all day long. And the key thing about how he created this landing page is he's highlighting the pain points again. He's highlighting the results that people are going to achieve. And remember, people don't read anymore. They skim. So you got to catch their attention really quick. So then finally, after scrolling down for multiple pages, he shows the vehicle. And this is where I find most of us go first, is the vehicle. We're like, oh yeah, I've created all these handouts and worksheets and diet diaries for you. But people just don't care about that anymore. Okay, so how is this going for everybody? Are you totally following? Is this mind-blowing information, or is this stuff that you've heard before, or is this really kind of hitting home for you? I would love to hear your thoughts so far. And so now we're going to get into the creating your content. And this is where you want to think about, where are your clients or patients now, and where do you want them to be when the program is done? Like, what would that ideal, beautiful testimonial look like if the perfect patient went through your perfect program and did everything that you wanted to? So when you're creating your content, you have to be thinking about, what is the best, easiest, fastest way I can get people from point A to point B. That's why, again, I love the 7-day detox program, because it's quick. It's very easy to digest because it's only for 7 days. And because the diet on it is so restrictive, and we flood their body with nutrients, with supplements and detox powders and things like that, they feel amazing at the end of that week. And then I have them basically eating out of my hand and asking me what's next. So that's the other thing you want to think about, is when you're creating your content, how can you over deliver on your promise? So not only do I get these people losing bloat and losing weight and sleeping better and feeling better in as little as 7 days, their pain is gone. Their bladder issues that they've been suffering with for months is gone. Their headaches have not come back yet. They're identifying what foods they are now sensitive to. So things like that. So again, what do they want? They want weight loss quick. What are you giving them that they need? They need to heal their body. So what are some other things that you want to do around the content? Do you want to have a set seminar series that you're going to walk your patients through? Are you going to include weekly homework that you want them to accomplish, like diet diaries, tracker sheets, worksheets? And then what are some of the quick wins that your clients and patients can achieve as they're kind of signing up with you and going through the program? So we have a comment here that the pain points kind of make sense, but the examples you show from the weight loss website seem a bit too salesy for me. What I will say to that is you are not the people you are working with. Okay. So what may turn us off doesn't necessarily turn off the people that we're trying to help. And this is where I find we often get in our own way when it comes to promoting ourselves, promoting our services, because I personally don't like to be cold called. I don't like to be pitched to, but I have a lot of patients that's what really resonates with them is they need the cold calls to excite them and come out of nowhere. And then there's going to be people that are incredibly skeptical. And if I can take a step outside of the webinar, I mean, I have coaching clients right now whose practices are dwindling because they don't like receiving emails. But emails now are basically the new commercial. And if you're not staying top of mind, like people that used to watch commercials and now we have PVR, then you're going to lose those potential sales. So what I encourage you to think about is when we are describing these pain points, number one, unless you're going to make a brand new landing page or sales page for every single individual person, like customize it for every single individual person, you almost have to put all of these different pain points to hopefully attract one or two or three that resonate with those people. Do not feel that you are being salesy, because when you are creating these programs, I need you to do it from a genuine place. So I need you to be doing it from a place of, I want these transformations for you. And explain that in your sales page. Put a lot of you and your personality into that so it doesn't feel so salesy. But I will tell you this, is if this is what people are doing, and Dave Smith, his turnaround and his conversion rate for that landing page is phenomenal. If it's working, then I wouldn't be so quick to discount it, because it may not resonate with you, because again, you are not the people you are selling to or you are trying to help. And that's where, again, the research comes into play. So if you're targeting people that hate emails, then you don't do emails, right? So think about all of that as you're putting your program together. And with regards to delivering the information, do you want it to be done in office? Do you want to add extra emails or videos? And this is what my patients love, is they love the extra information. Do you want to include even more value, like adding a Facebook page so they can create a community of people? And so again, your turn is, what are you kind of thinking about right now with regards to the content that you want to deliver? Do you really like the idea of having it strictly online? Do you like the idea of mixing in office and then providing extra value between your visits? So for my 12-week program, I have patients coming to see me once a week for 12 weeks. And then in between those visits, I'll send them like the occasional email if they're just doing the basic level, or if they're doing the elite level, which includes an email every single day that I just put on automate, and they can use my sauna unlimited and all of these other things, then they're getting a lot more value, which allows me to raise my price up a little bit more as well. So that's kind of takes us into pricing and thinking about how you want to put your package together. So do you want to sell everything up front? Do you want to include supplements in the pricing or have it separate so it's more of a choice? Do you want it to be a la carte, or do you want it to be, this is the set program and protocol? Do you want to include lab work in the cost of the program? Or do you want to make that an extra thing? So this is what I want you to think about when it comes to pricing. And when it comes to actually putting the price down, never ever devalue the amount of effort you've put into the program. And also think about it this way. And this is something that James Wedmore went through, I think, on one of his podcasts that I listened to. And he said, if you were to price a program or price your service, what is the price that you feel the most comfortable with? So for me, for my basic program, it's $200 or $240 total that they end up with over the 12 weeks. And that's all they're doing is coming in quick, SMART goals, inches, weight, whatever. But for the people that I added the extra value to, that get the unlimited saunas, that get the weekly emails from me, then I increased it to $60 per visit. So 60 times 12 is, what is that? Like, I don't know, I'm really bad at math, 700 or so. Let me just do a quick calculation here. I really should know this answer. Times 12 is 720. So for me, because I put in a ton of extra work and because they're getting a ton of extra value, I feel comfortable promoting it at a much higher price point. Thank you, Olena. And then the scale thing that James did is he said, okay, where do you feel comfortable? Like, no brainer. I have no problem selling a program at this price. And then where would be like your crazy upper limit that you would never, ever sell it to, but it would be amazing if you could. So for me, if I could sell the 12-week program for $2,000, that would be amazing. But I would never, ever feel comfortable doing that. So then where's kind of a nice middle ground? Where do you feel that you're still slightly uncomfortable, but you know that the price is reflective in the value that you're providing? So that's where I found if I do, no work and they get no extras, $20 per visit is perfectly fine. But if I'm doing all this extra work and they're getting tons of extra value, I think $60 a week is more than comfortable for most people to pay and afford and appreciate. So never, ever base your pricing on your fear of what people will think of you or think of your program or think of that. You always want to then add more value so that you can, kind of relate that price to where you've set it and feel comfortable with that. Okay. Because we can get really sticky and sensitive about pricing, but you have all learned your craft for years and years and years and invested a lot of time and money to get to where you are. And your ability to take people from feeling awful to feeling amazing in 4 weeks is, priceless to a lot of people. So don't ever discount that. And then finally, when it comes to promotion, you never, ever want to go and do all of this work, all of this research, all of this creation, and then sell it once and then never, ever sell it again. So the other thing I need you to promise me is you will never create a one-off program. Unfortunately, in naturopathic medicine, we don't learn how to create good programs in our practice. And I find a lot of us are failing because we feel that we can't do a lot of things like what other people can do in the healthcare industry. I mean, personal trainers are selling $5,000 to $6,000 personal training packages, and people are eating them up and they're not even covered by benefits. And then when they come to us, the benefits and all the other stuff becomes a huge issue. So there's something kind of being missed in either the way you are promoting yourself, the way you're promoting your value. And I need you to understand that creating a program is a very, very quick and easy way to get somebody engaged with you. And we want our patients and our clients coming into our practice more frequently. So again, we can build that long-term relationship with them. So for me, in Ontario, I can't do block fees. So I can't sell my $720 package all up front. They have to pay visit by visit. So what I'll do is I'll get them all to be booked all on the same day. As soon as they sign up, we book all 12 visits. And I'm very clear with them that if they miss more than 2 for no good reason, like they didn't do the work or they don't want to come in, then they lose everything. They lose all the value. They go right back to my regular 15-minute price for the remainder of the program, and then we start fresh. So I say that very clearly to their face, and then I also send them a welcome email as soon as they sign up with me that goes through the same thing. For some of you that are listening, you may not have those regulations, so you may be able to do the block pricing. The only thing I would caution you on is if somebody wants to stop doing the program, you may need to have a refund policy in place, and then also have the funds to refund people if they do ask for, their money back or whatever. So I kind of like having money trickling in as opposed to a big payday on the front end and then no money as we continue on. But it's all definitely what you can and cannot do based on your profession. So as I said in the very beginning, we also like to walk people through that stepping stone idea, that peeling away the onion idea. So for me, as I've mentioned, we typically always start with the 7-day detox. Oh, sorry, Kate, can you explain in a bit more detail? They don't pay up front, but they book up front. Yes, so in Ontario, we're not allowed to do block fees. So I have to charge them visit to visit to visit. So I have them, when they sign up, they book all of their appointments with me. And then if they start, let's say next week, we have all 12 appointments booked, but they will only get charged for that 15-minute visit every single week that they show up. So I'm not going to get a payment from them until I see them next week, but I've got them committed on the calendar for all 12 of their visits. Okay. So that to me was the only way that I could make sure that they know this is how long your commitment is. Put it all in your calendar. I'm going to see you this many times over the next 3 months. But every time they come in, they get billed for that day's worth of consultation. So whether it's the $20, the $50, the $60, and I can only do it once at a time. So I hope that that kind of explains what I meant by that. So then we do the 7-day detox first and clean them all up, get their diet all cleaned up, and then we move on to typically the 12-week accountability program, because these people now have lost 5 to 10 pounds and they don't want to put it back on, and the momentum has started. So again, we do a little chunk at first, and then we kind of go on to more of the lifestyle and maintenance program. Do I take the credit card number for charges as they go? No, I could, and I do have a program that I can store their credit card number for sure. Again, I can't charge for a visit that hasn't been completed, so I can only charge based on them coming into my office and getting the service. Okay, so that's just kind of the regulations that we have here. So all of the sales pages that I'm going to be describing are also available on my website, and I'm going to put it into the chat window here. So healingjourneynaturopathic.com has all of them, as does the Maxim movement.com. And if you wanted to use these as a template for yourself, by all means, go right ahead and kind of see how I explained things. They're not all done beautifully, and they're very, very quick and easy to digest, not like what I had as the example for Dave Smith's landing page, but you can at least kind of see where I'm going with it. But for instance, I had a coaching client who was a naturopath, and she wanted to do a 7-day detox in her office. And she showed me her sales page, and it was exactly what I said not to do. So it was all about the vehicle. It was all about the medical stuff. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't emotionally provoking at all. And so we completely ripped it apart, redid it, added the bold pain points, and she sold 15 spots in a week, which generated her $1,500, which is a really great week, on top of seeing her patients. Examples of my landing pages that I have on my website. So here's my 7-day detox program that I do with pretty much every single patient that walks in my office. Here's the 12-week accountability program. So again, the $20 per visit basic, $50, here's where they get the emails every single day, or the $60 per visit where they get the unlimited saunas. And then across the board, they're just seeing me for the same amount of time. It's the amount of value that these people get outside of the office that increases the price. And then we also have our infrared sauna. So with every single new patient that comes into my office, I give them one free treatment of the sauna. And then typically after they have that treatment, they will usually buy packages of 5 or 10 treatments. And I will kind of use that as part of their treatment as well. So this is another great thing to think about with regards to your business, is how you can start to leverage your time a little bit better. So once the patients are in, I keep track of the time that they go in, what the temperature was, how they were feeling. When they're done, I make note of the temperature afterwards, how they're feeling, and I put it all in their chart. So to me, it's no different than doing acupuncture, where you put the needles in and you let them relax for the treatment and then come back into the room and remove the needles. So I had my sauna paid off after 5 months of purchasing it, and it was a $3,000 sauna. But it was because, again, I didn't let it just sit in my treatment room without people knowing that it existed. I give that free treatment and remind patients that haven't tried it yet to try it at least once for free. And now it's starting to kind of generate its own buzz. So as I said, I try to give patients, based on what they're talking to me about, what their complaints are, what their concerns are, a brochure for the signature program that I think will suit them the best. With the Maximize Your Clinic course that I've created, I have a group of VIPs that I've been working very closely with in our Facebook page. And they're starting to do now online webinars just like this, to start to attract new patients into their office and reignite old patients. And the last VIP that did a webinar series, she did 2 webinars in a week, and she was selling the 7-day detox program, and she made, I want to say $1,500 by the end of that week as well. And she only had, I think, 5 or 6 people go through it, but she had them come in as new patients. So they had their initial consult. She taught them on the detox. They bought the supplements to go alongside it, and then the follow-up. So it was amazing that she did that. The other thing that you may want to think about is the beta group. So beta groups are huge when it comes to, number one, collecting information on how well you've put together your program, and number two, at getting people excited about your program. So a beta group typically will always do it either at a lower rate, or they'll have extra value of some sort, like an extra ebook or an extra assessment or an extra test or something like that. And you typically limit the spots. So I'm only accepting 10 people to join me in my new digestive health program. If you want to be a beta member, you have to let me know within by the end of the next 48 hours, because I'm closing it down in 2 days. Whoever's with me is with me. You get this, 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 and this. But the number one thing that I need from you is I need you to give me as much feedback as you can as you go through the program, so that I can make it better when I actually launch it to everybody else. So this gives you your key group at which you have full permission to ask, what did you like? What didn't you like? Why didn't you like this? What promoted you to sign up for the beta group? What didn't? Like for those people that didn't want to sign up, why didn't you want to sign up to the program? Just keep asking these questions to your people. And then think about with the promotion as well, is how do you want to promote your program? Do you want it to be available all the time? Or do you want it to be just seasonally? So I have my 7-day detox and my 12-week program available all the time, but I have my 14-day clean eating challenge available seasonally in January, April, and September. Do you want it to be a group program? Do you want it to be solely online? Do you want it to be all in office? Do you want it to be one-on-one? You know, all these things you want to consider, because that'll give you an idea of how to promote the program. And above all else, guys, do not get in your way as you are brainstorming and putting all of this information together this weekend. And the reason why is this is what we do, is we'll be standing on a beach and we're seeing somebody drown right in front of us. And then we're like, oh, wait, I can't help you because my website's not perfect. I can't help you because I didn't create my brochures yet. I can't help you because I don't have my business cards done. We allow all of these excuses to get in the way, and all this person wants you to do is go into the frickin' water and stop them from drowning. So please do not allow perfection and fear and all these things get in your way. You just have to go out and help them. It does not matter how you get there, just do it. And so even when I was developing the 7-day detox program in my office, I literally learned about it and implemented it the following Monday, like the next day. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know how it was going to go. I was just like, this is what we're doing. Do you want to try this? And my patient was like, yeah. And it was a life changer for her. When I was doing the 12-week program, I just started with the $20 visits, and that was it, just to see if people were actually interested. And then it kind of created everything else and extended it as I went. So whatever you create now in the next week is not necessarily what you're going to have in the end. But if you don't create it, I can promise you that your patients that are crying out for you to help them are just going to drown because you're, getting in your way. So before we finish up here, I really want to see those of you that have been engaged and following along and doing all of this work with me, when you would actually like to launch your program. So by making a date and by making it tangible and writing it in the chat window really will make it happen. If you just continue to think about it, it's not going to happen. So I would love to hear from everyone. Based on what we've gone through, when would you like to have your program set up well enough that you would start pitching it to your patients? And I'm just going to take a quick break here while you do that. And I can promise you that by posting it, it will happen. I can promise you guys that. So you got to post it. You got to write it down. You got to put it somewhere tangible that you are going to make it official. You know that you're going to make it happen. 6 months. So give me a date in 6 months, RS. Tell me like the exact day. And I hope everyone's kind of scrolling in their calendar right now. Ideally, I would love to see somebody say, I'm going to have it ready for Monday. That would be amazing. January 1st of next year. Beautiful. And whatever you guys do decide to create, run it by me if you want to. If you kind of like what I've been talking about tonight, just run it by me. Let me know what works for you. We have Danielle, January 2nd of next year. Amazing. Because we wouldn't want to do it on January 1st because we're not going to be feeling very good, some of us. April 1st, beautiful. So now that you guys are getting more specific, I really hope you write it down somewhere else that you can see it as well. And doesn't it feel amazing to write down a date? Doesn't it feel inspiring? Ellen, June 1st of next year. Amazing. If anybody was curious about the program, and as I promised, this was not going to be a pitch, nothing. But I know I've talked about this a lot. This is the link to the 7-day detox program on my website. And it's just completely done for you. So if it does help to bump up those dates, that would be phenomenal. And so what I did was I purchased somebody else's program and basically just used their template templates as inspiration for me to create my own program. So you can use the 7-Day Detox program as is. You can use it as a platform for how you want to create your recipes, your emails. So it includes the emails you send to your patients every day during the program, the sales emails that you can send to promote the program. Monique, November 15th. I'm loving that. That's nice and close. As much information as I possibly could that was done for you. There you go. So that program, if you did want to check it out, I put the link in the chat window. It's $97, and I am actually completely deconstructing it, and I'm going to create it so it's even better with more videos, more explanation, more Q&A, because I've had this launch now for almost a year, and I've been collecting sort of where people are coming into issues with how to launch it. So I'm going to actually be relaunching it in a much more beautiful way, which will impact the price as well. So just keep that in mind. Kate, you've got a few programs going, but you want to bring more structure to them. So the first one you want to revamp by the end of the year. Again, Kate, I need a date from you. So what is the end of the year for you that you would like to have that first one completely revamped? And basically, guys, I mean, that was everything that I wanted to go through tonight. I hope you found it inspiring. I hope you feel a little bit more comfortable with what the steps and strategies are for you to create your in-office program. I am in no rush to get home. Aria is asleep right now. I'm sure Scott is loving that he has the TV to himself on Thursdays because it's a football night. So I'm just going to hang out with you guys as long as you want. But Kate, thank you. The 22nd of December, that sounds awesome. So is there any last minute questions, comments, anything that I can help you guys with before we end the webinar for this evening? Anything that I can do to get you motivated and ready to make these tremendous changes in your practice? Oh, Danielle, it was my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you, Ellen. Have a great night. So Kate, wondering what you provide in terms of materials for your programs besides the visits. So yes, I do the emails. I create YouTube videos that I send to them. I create, well, I don't create, but I use the templates, like the SMART goal templates. I'll use the if the first line therapy meal plan templates, like basically anything I possibly can to get the information to them easier, as well as provide them with tremendous value. And patients, I know, love to hear my personal experience. So even for the 7-Day Detox, I went through it twice, and I videoed my experience going through it both times. So when they go through the program, they get to watch those videos, and that also helps them. So they love the one video segment where I was on day 3 of the detox, and it wasn't even garbage day. And I came home and I was pissed. I was like, why isn't the garbage out? It's garbage day like 2 days from now. And I was just so bitchy and angry. And that is the one video that most patients are like, I was feeling that way too. And it was just so nice to hear that you had gone through it as well. So anything extra that you can do, even if you find a really great blog post from somebody else or a great video from somebody else, just share it with your patients throughout the program. It just adds more value. You offer any direction for launching an online only program? So basically, if you're able to do that, everything that we've talked about, you can manipulate so that it's completely online. But what I would strongly encourage you to do there is either have group calls or have one-on-one coaching calls that people could at least get to interact with you on a more individual level. But I mean, for goodness sake, there's people that create video-based programs and it's just a set it and forget it. So everything is there, all the modules are there, all the videos are there, and they just launch it that way. I also have a complete, what is it? Lead page, lead magnet that is all around creating an online program. And I just need to come up with the link for that. So give me a quick second. I'm going to go to my website and put that into the chat window as well. Monique, I'm so thrilled that that helped motivate you and take the fear away from creating your programs. So here it is. Copy. I'm hoping that this link works. It may or may not. So that's the link that I just put into the chat. And that is a complete 7-day program on how to create an online course with the tech guide, with everything. So that gives you exactly what you need to do to develop an online program if you wanted to, but still use a lot of the elements that we talked about today. Any other questions or concerns that I can help anybody else with tonight? Perfect. So the link works. That's awesome. And if it didn't, you could always just go to the resources section of the Maximize Business website. So are we all good? We're all like pumped and ready to take action, and we're going to commit to the dates that we posted here. I certainly hope so. Well, I am going to, then if there's no other last minute questions, I think I'm going to shut this down. And when I put the replay onto my website or my YouTube page, I will share that link with all of you. And I promise you that I'm not going to be taking it down anytime soon. So you can watch it anytime you want and come back and get re-inspired. I'm so glad, RS, that you are inspired as well and you're ready to take action. I love that. I hope the same for everybody else. If you do have any questions outside of the webinar, by all means, hit me up on Facebook or send me an email. Anything that I can do to help you guys with your business, you just let me know. All right, everyone, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to head home now, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.